No doubt these familiar wooden logs were part of your childhood. Any idea who invented them? You might be surprised. Chicago architect John L. Wright created Lincoln Logs as a building toy for kids based on architectural blocks he'd used as a child. Those blocks were given to him by a slightly more famous architect and his father, namely Frank Lloyd Wright. The toys surged in popularity in the 50s and 60s with the growth of TV and nostalgia for the Old West. They've been called America's national toy, but we know that they're a Chicago original. Just about every kid in America has had a ride in one of these. But did you know that radio flyer wagons were invented by a Chicagoan? Italian immigrant Antonio Passon invented the little red wagon to cart his tools around. And the rest is history. Here's more about this Chicago toy story.
My name is Robert Passon. I'm president and CEO of Radio Flyer. My grandfather came to America from Italy in 1914. He came to the U.S. through Ellis Island like so many millions of other immigrants. His father and his grandfather had been woodworkers, so when he came to America, he had that skill. We think that the most plausible story is that he had constructed a wagon for himself to carry around his tools in his workshop. And a customer came in and said, "Hey, can I have one of those?" And he made one, and then it just started growing, and that eventually eclipsed any other products that he was making. The way he would sell it, he had it disassembled in this beat-up suitcase, and he would bring that suitcase to hardware stores. He would open up this case and assemble the wagon and try to sell it to the store owner. The first wagon that he made was a wood body, and it had steel wheels. So as the business grew, and as my grandfather was making the Liberty Coaster wagons, he was experimenting with a lot of different names at the time. And two events happened that really inspired him and intrigued him. One was the invention of the radio, and also Lindbergh's crossing the Atlantic. So the two words, radio and flyer, were very exciting, high-tech words at that time, and he picked them and put them on the wagon. That's when he started to convert the wood wagon line to a steel wagon line. And he started cranking out little red wagons, and the companies that he bought steel from nicknamed him the Little Ford, because they were also selling steel to Ford and the different auto companies. And they would come in and see the factory and see how he was making all these little wagons that just looked like a miniature auto production line. I think the reason why people love Radio Flyer is because it reminds them of a simple time in their childhood. And I think that the typical Radio Flyer experience can be summed up as people remember being pulled by someone they loved to somewhere that was fun.
Duncan yo-yos are another Chicago invention created by businessman Donald Duncan. The yo-yo is based on an old Filipino toy, and Duncan saw its potential. The Chicago toy maker fueled the 1950s craze for yo-yos with clever marketing that included championship yo-yo challenges, television appearances, and big prizes. Since then, the yo-yo business has had its ups and downs, but even kids today like to try their hand at yo-yo tricks like walk the dog, around the world, and many others. Probably one of the biggest stories of this exhibit is the legacy of Marvin Glass and Associates. Marvin Glass is credited with inventing the business of toy invention. His workshop is credited with creating some of the most iconic playthings of all time, including toys from the 60s and 70s that kids still play with today. Light Bright, Mr. Machine, Mousetrap, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and many more. But probably one of the most famous games from the Marvin Glass studio started with the concept from a young University of Illinois industrial design student named John Spinello. Even McDonald's Happy Meal toys are designed right here in the Chicago area. The marketing store in Lombard creates hundreds of Happy Meal characters each year. They appear alongside kids' burgers throughout the world. One of the exhibit's modern-day toy stories comes in the form of these cute, cuddly little guys we all know as Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies hit the scene in the early 90s and started a decade of mad, crazy toy collecting. It lasted until around 2000 when the fad saw its demise. A visit to the Toys in the Hood exhibit would not be complete without taking in the toy testing area in the second floor gallery. After showing people all these toys, we knew they'd want to have some hands-on fun with some of their favorites. As you can see, this is one toy story you won't want to miss. Toys in the Hood will be open through September 18th. The museum is open Tuesday through Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m. We're located at 120 East Park Avenue in downtown Elmhurst. For more information, be sure to visit our website at www.elmhursthistory.org. Thanks for watching.